for you to suddenly like in a movie bump into someone really attractive like in a cafe. Not gonna happen. No, right?
Midlife
Midlife spices.
spices.
So okay, so here's the big question, right? Like what do you think is like the biggest like obstacles in dating like past 30s?
Okay, I think it's gonna
Mm.
be, I'm gonna talk about time and ego. So when we're in our
Mm-hmm.
30s or over, we have less time but bigger ego.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Because our work is
Less
already,
time, bigger ego.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because our work are gonna be a lot more established when in our 30s. But
Right.
then our ego
Yep.
is already there because we're very independent already.
Like more blown, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Probably you're right. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like you just won't say yes to like to people you would have said yes to like when you're younger, right?
Uh-huh.
Like
Uh-huh.
basically.
Yeah, yeah.
You just you're like, are you good enough for me? Kind of, right?
Yeah, and then if you don't
Yeah.
want it, there's still other people waiting, okay, behind you. Go away. Things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's reason number one, like bigger ego than like than time. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then
Uh, I think those
yeah.
two are the biggest thing, in my opinion, for dating
Oh,
past
okay.
30s.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah. Okay, this is like really interesting one, right? It's like before I have to like share this part like so then like it makes it all makes sense, right?
Hmm.
So I did like at certain point when I'm approaching like 35, and I start to think like, okay, I've gotta really do something different because like I'm not it feels like the pool is just only getting smaller and I'm not finding anyone. There must be something I'm doing wrong. I don't think that I'm so repulsive as a person, like, so like I went to see this what you call it, not love consultant, like a relationship coach. Yeah, that's what's the
Okay.
term, relationship coach. So like how did I find this guy? I saw him broadcasting all over like social media. Basically he's got a pretty good marketing, and we happened to be like the guest of the same talk show. We were being interviewed, so like it's like, oh yeah, like got introduced, and I'm like, oh okay, interesting, I didn't know there's such thing, relationship coach, huh? And he's probably one of the first in Indonesia or something,
Oh, Indonesia. Okay.
yes. So I'll give you his like details like later after the show, you can like click on the link.
Mhm.
And so I went there and like I said, okay, like let's do it, right? So I paid the consultation fee, and like let's the consultation was I think about 1 hour, I think 1 hour long in the
Mhm.
office. And
Okay.
so he interviewed me on like, okay, it's like let's get to the business. So um what's your how do you find like, so all sorts of questions like relating to like me and my quest in finding the one.
Mhm.
So like it turns out that like the obstacles are something that I didn't even think was an obstacle before, as like I wasn't
Okay.
aware of it. Like first thing first was location, believe it or not. Right? And so he was like asking me, okay, you tell me what type of guys that you like, as detailed as possible, or like really what kind of guys would you be like ideal husband.
Mhm.
And so I said like this and he's like, okay, so where you live now, um do you find a lot of type of guys like this, or do you know any place somewhere else in the world where there's a larger concentration of this type of guys? And I
Mhm.
was like, oh my god, I'm completely geographically in the wrong place. I'm like, there's none of these guys in Jakarta, like close to none,
Oh
but
yeah.
there's a lot in London probably, like
Okay.
it's like at least I think I was like, damn, I didn't think of that, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then he says like the second thing is like I yeah, it's like, maybe don't quote me on this, but like I do remember that he was saying, he was giving me a program on like, first of all, whatever you want to you do, you gotta go towards moving to that place, or else forget it. Your chances right now is probably like 0.00000 whatever percent to finding a guy that's marryable for you. But like if you're in the right location, that percentage gonna go up considerably, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, this is like a game of statistics. And he says, like, second thing is like, you gotta be okay with a guy that like meets 70% of that criteria that you just said. You can't be kind of like have to be like that narrow, But like if you're 70% happy, you gotta be okay with that. Just change your, beliefs, right? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I think that's doable, because so far, like, I can't even find someone that's like 50%, when I was in Jakarta. And so that's like the interesting thing. And so I think like a lot of these obstacles are just things that I wasn't aware that I was doing the, wrong things in looking. I thought that, well, I know myself, I know who I am, I know who I want, and I make an effort. I go out there and meet people. But why can't I find a boyfriend, right? It's like, and but then it's like, a lot of things that he said like makes so much sense, and I say this is very scientific. It's like a game of statistics. Of course, if I don't put myself in that environment, it's not going to happen, you know so yeah, so I think like all these obstacles, like I would say like the number one, the biggest one, right, is to do with the pool, you know
Okay.
is that location thing. Yeah, that's like one thing that like really really strikes for me. um and the rest are really kind of like, it depends on the person. Like, there are a lot of adjustment. Some people are shy and they never do these activities of go out there and, meet people and that kind of things, or go on a date. Like, they're just a little bit more reserved. I didn't have too much problems with that. It's like um but I think like when it comes to location, availability of like the types of guys that you might like, is like probably a single biggest advice I got out of that, that one consultation,
But
that I went for. So
location,
yeah.
of course,
Mhm.
does not
Yeah.
really always
Mm.
apply to geographic location, right? Or it can be a community,
It is
or
very
right?
much geographic.
Oh, really? Okay.
um Yeah, I would say that it is like geographical location too, because it matters. It's like, imagine that you have to like, travel so long, spend so much hours to see like the person that you're interested in. I mean, it can happen, but like most of the time, the distance does play a part. And um, it's like the less you see the person, it's like the harder it is to like, feel warm towards him, and vice versa. So like let's say if you are in the city, and then like where is the concentration of high concentration of like the people you will find attractive is, then I think like, yeah, it also applies. You could be like in the same city, but you go to the wrong places to look for one.
Or you spend too
Could
much
be.
time,
Yeah.
in certain community that actually don't have people that, fit your criteria, probably. For example, I don't know.
Yep,
It could be too, right?
absolutely. I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah, because like I think dating takes a lot of like time and effort and energy. Like, believe it or not, it's fun, but it takes a lot of all this effort. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So, if your energy is sucked somewhere else, then like you only have that much for, and I mean, it does need nurturing, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it kind
Yeah.
of surprised me that you say location, because I always believe that
Yeah.
people from any location have
Mm-hmm.
similar characteristics. No, for example, there are uh
Mm-hmm.
kind and caring and, and handsome and all those good qualities people in Jakarta, as well as in
Mm-hmm.
London or
Right.
Paris or any other city. So when you say
Yeah.
location, it's kind of, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yes, in my case, it does matter, because I think like majority of the guys that I've met, like in Jakarta, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like I could say like a very typical one is they tend to like have a more less feminist view, and like I do have a problem with that. As like you know, they still think that like man has to be the one who have the last say, and like
Okay.
if because I'm the male side, then you have to follow my side, and like you know, I have a big problem with that. So like you know, that's already like makes it so much harder for me to like find you know a guy that kind of like you know have a, on the same sort of like on the same page as me. And also I think like another thing is like the how strongly religious a lot of like Indonesians are, whereas
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit more you know kind of spiritual and free thinking. Like in that department, I'm not very sort of like religious, or I don't believe in religious dogma, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that I did find a couple of times that that had been an issue, you know, because it will be a problem like being married, you know, because you know, uh, I will never agree to it, you know, and like especially if you're gonna have like kids together, you know that that value is going to clash more and more and more, and I just kind of like don't see that like you know really happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it is true, like you know, it's like I think in any country you can find like someone attractive enough that like I would say okay, maybe, you know, but like ultimately because like within the people I get attracted to, like those qualities I'm looking for, if there that's very rare features, say like in a certain place, like in Jakarta, then like I'm against like really like a big odd, right? The
Mm-hmm.
chances of me finding one by chance is very, very slim. So yeah. So that's where it makes the difference, I think.
Yeah.
I think like if yeah, yeah. What do you think? Let's say
Um,
like you probably prefer Asian. I'm not sure. Like yeah, you tell me.
mm,
Hmm.
yeah, you might be right. It is again
Yeah.
related to our discussion
Hmm.
earlier on our first episode when we talk about judgmental,
Yeah.
right? They
Right.
judge you based on everything. Your
Yeah.
well,
Hmm.
you can tell by looking at any forms you're given here. They
Mm.
ask about your religion,
Yeah.
and then all of the stuff that you've never seen before, which we thought it's not very important, and they they make a big deal out of everything. Um, although
Mm.
like for example a status, like I told you earlier, when they knew about my status they'll be like, "Oh, okay, you're not perfect, you must have done something wrong that
Mm.
you're in this situation, blah blah blah." Although
Yeah.
the story can be anything, right? And also
Right.
yeah, but I know what you mean, because a lot of people from my similar background as me, they decide to be with people from the Western country due to that reason, because they're like,
Right.
they never ask you
Right.
about your family, your status, your religion and all that. They just care about you as you, not
Mm.
your all those things that shape who
Yeah.
you are.
And it does feel liberating. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, you can
Yeah,
be
it does
yourself.
feel liberating because like you're yeah, you can be yourself. Yeah, it's kind of like you know you don't have to think about what will people say, kind of like what people, right? It's like people are
Hmm.
so individualistic already, they don't care. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. So in a way,
Mm. Mm.
that makes sense
Yeah.
if you see it from that
Yeah.
point of view.
So yeah, actually like the question is like you know you did mention about the people's ego being like bigger
Mm-hmm.
like past 30s, and then like you know and you have like fewer times. So that's the obstacle, right? Like how do you overcome that obstacle though? Like you know did you do something to kind of like you know were you aware of it and say okay I'd better do something or it's gonna get harder, or do you have any advice for like you know the listeners?
Um, yeah, actually, the advice is going to be very simple. Make an effort,
Mm.
of course.
Mm.
Nothing can be
Yeah.
done if you don't make an effort, right? In anything, including dating.
Mm.
Uh, this is something
Yeah.
serious, especially if you really want to be if you really want to spend the rest of your life with someone. that can actually make you happy, and vice versa. So you really have to make time and make sure you know, focus on that. And then the other thing, of course, you have to lower your ego, because a lot of times we when we are older, of course, we always want to be, you know, understood, and not the other way around. And we're gonna be like, okay, you don't like me, fine, be with somebody else. It doesn't work that way, right? We really have to lower our ego and then make sure that we listen to each other. uh, you know, something that's quite common, but we always forget about this kind of thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, do you think like not give up on the relationship so easily
uh
and try to work it out if there's a problem? You think?
well, that's going to be a different discussion, Vivian.
Yeah, you
It's gonna
think?
be,
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a
Yeah,
longer one.
that's what you were referring to, you know, because you're saying about like lowering the ego. So yeah. Whereas
Yes.
of course, like if you're in your 20s, you probably say there's plenty of fish in the sea, like go away. Yeah. Can't be bothered. Sort it out.
Yeah,
Doesn't work out or
I'm
something.
actually talking more about when you're earlier in your relationship,
Mm.
when you first meet
Yeah.
someone. You really have to
Mm.
start to open your eyes and close your mouth. Just listen, and then see it from the
I see, I see.
go from there, instead of the other way around. Because a lot of people are like, okay, I am blah 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 blah, and then we expect them to know who we are, and we forgot to actually ask,
Mm.
okay, and who are you? You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Right. That's a good start. Yeah. You do need that. You do
Yeah,
need that. Yeah. Yeah.
especially when you're older, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
your advice on the thing that you
Um,
mentioned before?
yes. Yeah, my advice would be I guess like some people could make use of, you know, like relationship coach if you're really stuck. I mean, you know, it's like, but of course you got to do your research and see, you know, if this person have a good reputation. I mean, like try anything, right? Like whatever you do, I think if you don't treat the relationship like you treat your career or whatever it is that you are, you know, like doing in life, or your other ambitions, then it's not going to happen organically or naturally, like, you know, in contrary to what a lot of people think that it just happens like with age. It doesn't, right? And I think like the minute you give up, like it's the chances of it happening is just very very low. I think, you know, for you to
Mhm.
suddenly like in a movie bump into someone really attractive like in a cafe, not gonna happen. No, 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 no. Right. So yeah, I think that and I again will say like location, location, location. This is crazy, right? It's like almost like it's almost like looking for the right property, but it's true, you know.
Location, location,
um
location. True.
it also, yeah, like another case study aside from myself is my friend, you know. She was in Jakarta also for like the longest time.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with her, she has a lot of friends, very social, you know, and
Mhm.
whatever, but like can't find a guy. But like the minute she decided, okay, you know what, I need some change of environment, she went to United States, you know, for like a postgrad course or something. And then like within 1 or 2 years, like she met the man of her life and they are now
Oh,
married. Right.
okay.
This happened recently. So like, you know, I do really think like that location thing really is like kick-ass. Yeah, it really works.
Okay.
So like
Interesting.
it might not be the case for everyone. So like I wouldn't say that, you know, but like this might be one big thing that a lot of people miss and never thought about before. So yeah,
Mhm.
something to think about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Particularly
Yeah.
your way of thinking, right? I mean, for some people, of course, your way of thinking
Mm.
doesn't really match your location, and you have to move somewhere where, you know, there are more people like you. That's probably the logic behind it.
Exactly. There's more people that you're looking for. Exactly. Yeah.
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 And thanks for watching our video today. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you on our next video.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video for the midlife spices.
You don't yet know.